Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Gymnastics. I am Dee Griffin, and we are on the hallowed ground of the historic Fisk University, where we have the first HBCU gymnastics team. And it's such an honor to be here today with the coach of this team, Coach Tarver, who is amazing and historical in herself, all right, as being on a gymnastics team. Thank you for being with us, first of all. Thank you so much. And you have a team of women of color,
Yes.
Gymnastics team, because it is a quite diverse team. When we think of HBCU, we think of only Black, but we do have a diverse team here. So let's start off a little bit about you, because your history yourself, you made history at the University of Georgia. Were you the first Black female gymnastics gymnast there, or was there someone before you?
Well, I've heard that there might be someone before me, but the books, you talk to Sports Information, they have me listed as the first Black gymnast. So I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, because I've always said I'm the first Black gymnast to attend.
Yeah, that's all I've.
But I think it was more, what I can say is I was the first Black gymnast to ever attend for the NCAA program.
Wow.
So that much I know for sure. As far as, honestly, I was kind of used to that.
Okay.
Yes, the gym I came from, we had quite a few women, girls of color, because back then we weren't quite 18, so we weren't, but on our team. But I'm from New York, so pretty diverse as it is. And so, but the sport, there wasn't a whole lot of us.
Well, you were from New York and you came down south, the deep south.
I did.
How was that?
Eye-opening.
Yeah.
The first time I went to a Georgia football game, my eyes were as wide as they can be, and all I could think of was, they're barking.
Yes.
All these people are barking. What did I get myself into? Like, what did I get myself into?
Barking, yeah.
So I was blessed in that I was able to move around the different constituents at the University of Georgia. I mean, I was able to go into white spaces, and I was, at least on the surface, welcomed.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that people didn't have their feelings, but they didn't express it to me. But that can't be said for a lot of my friends, some of my sorority sisters, some of the other Greeks that I know new on campus. They did not have that same privilege. And so their experiences were very, very different. But as you know, anytime you're a high profile athlete on a campus, you kind of get that celebrity status.
And also you were a team, so everyone was sort of protective of each other, probably.
Well, the team was very, the team was not an issue because, but the majority at the time were from the Northeast.
Oh, okay.
So we had quite a few from Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. So we were all kind of used to it. We did have our Southerners, and most of them came from Florida, though.
Oh.
We didn't have very many from Georgia, from the state of Georgia on the team at the time. So I don't feel like as a team that I had an issue at all. My coach was from New Jersey.
Okay.
The head coach. So again, people who came from areas that had diverse backgrounds. So they did not approach it the same way as possibly if I'd gone there and it had been more of a Southern team and more of a Southern coach. I can't say that it would have been worse, but it would have definitely been different.
It would have been different. Wow. Now, what made you want to go into coaching after, did you ever leave the sport after college?
Not completely.
Not completely.
I started coaching at 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I started coaching when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
I changed gyms with my coach who bought part of a gym. And the other owner kind of came to me and said, hey, are you interested in teaching classes? I said, sure. You know what I mean? It's a good way to make money. As a 15, 16-year-old, I had some cash that I can then go do with. And so I also started coaching team about a year later. So my senior in high school, I was coaching team. Wow. And so then after that, I coached every summer. I would coach camp. We weren't allowed to work back then.
Right.
So I couldn't really coach during the school year, but I coached every summer. And then when I was done, whatever job I had, I always found a gym.
Wow.
Didn't matter where I went to, I found a gym to It just couldn't get out of my blood.
Yeah. And it stayed in your blood so much so that now you're on the collegiate level coaching.
I was on the collegiate level once before.
Okay.
I coached at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then I took a break after I had my daughter. She had a lot of medical issues, and it was difficult.
Yeah.
So I took a break from that, and I coach still, but just not on a collegiate level.
Okay.
And then I was ready to get back into full-time work. Part of with my daughter was to not be working full-time because I was just so much that was happening, and too often that I was having to be in the hospital with her, and a lot of time spent just dealing with stuff. So it was best for me to have more flexibility. But she got to an age where she basically was, pretty stable. And I remember telling my husband I'm about ready to get back into full-time coach or full-time work. I wasn't even thinking about coaching, just going back to work full-time.
Right.
And a friend of mine who was a consultant for the gymnastics team here said, you're going to get a phone call, so just be prepared. And I said, Fisk, where's that?
Where is that? What is that?
I'd never heard of it because I'd never looked at HBCU. I mean, as you heard with Jordan, there was no gymnastics in HBCUs. So other than the ones that were in the Northeast or, Howard, as far down as that, or the ones in Atlanta, because obviously I went to Georgia, so I spent, my good time in there's, in the Atlanta HBCUs. I had my time there. But other than that, Tuskegee, because it's just, but there's a lot. I didn't realize there was nearly as many HBCUs as there were, where they came from, like what states they were in. And I'd never heard of FISC.
Yeah. And now you're a part of FISC.
Now I'm a part of FISC.
And it's part of FISC's history.
I am. And I love that I'm still a Bulldog.
You sure are.
I never stopped being a Georgia.
That's right. You're still a Bulldog.
I've never stopped being a Bulldog.
What has it been like for you to be an HBCU coach?
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's different. I tell people it's so difficult in some ways and so just gratifying in others. It's gratifying because for me, one of my goals was to give as many opportunities to women of color as I could. So we've had pretty big teams, 25 last year, and it should have been 21. So I'm constantly wanting to give that back to them so that they can experience it. It's been difficult because nobody at FISC had any clue what it meant to have a gymnastics program. And I remember when I first took the job, and at one of the first meetings that I had after I took the job with the president at the time, and he kind of laid out what his plans were, and I was like, yeah, no,
that's not gonna happen.
That's not this is
not how we do things.
No, this is gymnastics. We're not like any other sport that is in the NCAA. So I had to kind of teach them what gymnastics was and what we needed and how it worked and why we have to travel the day before and stay overnight. Even if it's 3 hours, we're going to stay the night before because you don't get off the bus and just do gymnastics.
No.
It's not safe.
No.
So it was just a lot of little things like that they just had no idea. Yeah. And so it was like, oh, okay.
So you had to shape and mold the program, and that's exciting.
It is, and it's also scary, and it's also, it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
The playbook from the PWI we worked at is not, I can't use it. But there's parts that work. So we have to then figure out what parts work at an HBCU versus which don't work at an HBCU.
Do you think that was a large part or a large reason why the Tougaloo, I think it is, their program didn't last?
Oh, no, Talladega.
Talladega, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tougaloo, it's Talladega. Don't come for me, Tougaloo. Don't come for me.
I mean, my understanding is that it was all financial.
Yeah.
So that was FISC too. They had no idea of what it costs.
Yeah.
And so
it's more than just put up some bars and put up a vault and we're done.
Yeah. I mean, and so we've been blessed with fundraising has gone really well the first 2 years. We're still in year 3 now, so we're having our fundraising drives, and I'm out there to everyone. We need donations as much, because the more we can raise, the easier it is.
Yeah.
And the more experiences I can give to my team. So for example, we're going to Rutgers this year. And one of my goals is to go into New York City because it's so close.
Right.
And to go to a Broadway play.
Nice.
So now there are members of our team who have never been to New York, let alone a Broadway play.
Wow.
So I want to give them that experience. I want to give them an opportunity that maybe they will never get if they don't get a chance to go up to New York, or even just up to this point haven't had a chance.
And this is another way that gymnastics has opened a door for so many, and the exposure and just taking them to a new level, new heights.
And honestly, the Black community, while I do believe we love our entertainment, I don't know Broadway is something that is exposed to the masses.
Right. Yeah.
So if I can expose those kind of experiences, then I want to do so.
That is good. Well, you are exposing them by being the coach here, but you're taking them a different kind of exposure, and that's wonderful, opening their eyes in a different way.
Right.
And that's, I mean, you're more than a coach, in that regard. You're like a second mom to them, probably.
I try. You try it. But it is like having a bunch of teenage daughters that, and we know as moms, the teenage daughters.
I have a teenage son, and Lord help me. I love your energy when I watch on the screen, and your energy and encouraging the young ladies, and their energy with each other is amazing.
Yes.
I find myself at work watching, and I'm cheering with you. Yes, good job. Yes, that's a big part of it, encouraging them through life and their performance.
It's funny because the new athletic we had, Valencia Jordan, when she came in last year, I told her, I said, well, I need you to understand your first gymnastics meet, it's very loud. There's a lot of yelling, there's a lot of screaming, there's a lot of jumping up and down, there's a lot of high-fiving, fist bumps, running, hugs, you name it. It's like I said, it's different than any other sport that you will experience in the NCAA.
Well, we appreciate you bringing this sport and your talents and your time to Fisk to help us continue to grow and to put us on the map in this regard. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I have enjoyed the ride so far.
Good.
No matter what, the ups, downs, sideways, I've thoroughly enjoyed the ride that we've been able to do with this, and I'm hoping that it continues. Each year we got to kind of recreate ourselves to some extent so that we stay in the forefront.
Right.
Fisk is still forever first.
Forever first.
So that is something that we will have forever. But we can't just sit back and say, well, we're the first, therefore
we can just relax.
Yeah, everything should come to us. Or no, we have to hustle. We got to get out there. We got to get the word out. We got to say, hey, we had our first national champion this past year. So the first HBCU gymnast to win a national championship. Hey, it only took us 2 years to get there.
That's good.
That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what if we have an HBCU gymnast go to the Olympics?
We have multiple. This year we had the opportunity to have multiple gymnasts that can qualify to nationals and possibly become national champions. So
yes,
that is our goal this year. Again, it's going to take funds to help with that. So
we need funds.
Can't say that enough. We need funds. Donations are always.
How would people donate if they're listening? If they know Oprah, they know Tyler Perry, if they know anybody on Broadway, how could we get that message out for donations?
Well, obviously, it's going to depend on what type of donation you're talking about. So if it's people donating, you can go to the Fisk donate page, and there's a drop-down menu. You can pick gymnastics, and then it'll come to our gymnastics account. If it's someone that's a little bit more high profile,
Bill O'Neill, I just thought about him. He could donate. I don't know him, but he could donate.
If it's someone that's more high profile, then obviously we would handle that differently. And I want to recognize, who it is and what they've done for us. And so usually they want to give those big fake checks and stuff like that. So we like photo ops with that.
Well, that's good. That's good. But I mean, it takes that investment to keep it going.
Yes.
And you are investing in lives every day, and we appreciate you. And we need you to invest your money.
Our first 2 years, we had sponsors.
Yeah.
We have not gotten a sponsor this year. No. So we are looking for someone to sponsor the team this year. So any corporations out there that are interested in sponsoring Fisk Gymnastics, we're here for you.
Yeah, we need some sponsors. So,
sponsor some national champions, because we're going to have them again this year.
Yeah, that would be really good to get those sponsors out there to keep this going and to take it even higher to another level. So
That is the goal.
thank you for what you do and what you have done and what you are doing and continue to do.
Thank you so much.
I'm just glad to meet you. I've always wanted to. I'm like, that is so good. And I mean, it takes a lot.
Clubhouse was us too.
So yes, we are women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Gotta get that in there.
Got to get that in there.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.